తగ్గించు. హలో హలో మైక్ టెస్టింగ్. హలో ఓకే. All of you can repeat. स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्. नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Namaste, Shubha Sandhya, Susandhya, very good evening to all of you. Welcome each one of you for this very important, very interesting, very auspicious function when we are celebrating 170th Jayanti of Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, 125 years of the foundation of Ramakrishna Mission, and today we are observing in a simple way Swami Ranganathanandaji Memorial Lecture, and also a little bit of prayer and meditation, bhajans. 1908, December 15th, was born this one of the greatest monks of the Ramakrishna order, one of the pillars of Indian culture, philosophy of the 20th century, and who built up the Karachi Center, the Ramakrishna Mission Center in New Delhi, and focused mainly for nearly 25 years in Hyderabad. Whatever you see from gate number 1 to gate number 4, the entire 8.5 acres of this divine, extremely inspiring campus is the contribution and the blessings of most revered Ranganathanji Maharaj. We are in our own way, plus or minus, trying to fulfill the legacy, carry on the legacy of revered Maharaj's vision and mission. He was inside a Parama Bhakta and he was outside a Parama Gnani. It's a unique combination. Though he did not express devotion much, but those who are nearby, those who are with him in close quarters, maybe monastics, and also some devotees could feel the motherly heart and the spirit and the bhakti, paripurna bhakti inside towards Sri Ramakrishna, towards Mother, towards the Sangha, and towards the country. So we are, every year, last 2 years we did it online through the Ranganathananda Foundation of Devotees. And many people in Kolkata, his disciples, when he was the president, used to organize these memorial lectures. But post-COVID, we thought physically we'll do it for the people of Hyderabad. And online, his disciples, admirers, well-wishers in the whole country and the world will be watching through the YouTube channel. Thanks to COVID, it brought the whole world into that small frame of 12 inches through the TV, through the system. So without wasting much time, first part of the program will be devotional music, bhajans of Meera, Kabir, Tulsidas and others by the one and the only Shri Sharat Gupta ji, advocate and a leading musician of Hyderabad. I request Sharat Gupta ji to come onto the stage. Sharad Gupta ji is familiar to the older generation of Hyderabad and the devotees here. His entire family of last 30 years, so if I remember, 1989, 85 onwards, they're connected with the mission, mutt here, and very closely with Swami Ranganathanandaji. Any program, any event would not be completed without Sharad Gupta ji's music, Sharad Gupta ji's bhajans. So I requested him on the memorial lecture of Ranganathanandaji to sing for 30 minutes. Beautiful bhajans, and he is the disciple of the illustrious Anup Jalotaji, the outstanding classical musician of our country. So with this introduction, on tabla is our young artist who is our devotee and regularly plays Saturday, Sundays in our temple with all the Swamis. Harnath, who is also a young budding artist of Hyderabad. Over to Sharad Gupta ji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. He Ram, He Ram, He Ram, He Ram, He Ram, He Ram. जग में साचो तेरो नाम, जग में साचो तेरो नाम। हे राम, हे राम, हे राम, हे राम। तू ही माता, तू ही पिता है, तू ही माता, तू ही माता, तू ही पिता है, तू ही तो है राधा का श्याम। हे राम, हे राम, हे राम, हे राम। तू अंतर्यामी सबका स्वामी, तू अंतर्यामी सबका स्वामी। तेरे चरणों में चारों धाम। हे राम, हे राम, हे राम, हे राम। तू ही सवारे तू ही सवारे, तू ही बिगाड़े इस जग के सारे काम। हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम। तू ही जगदाता, तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता। तू ही जगदाता विश्व विधाता। तू ही सुबह तू ही शाम। हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम। धन्यवाद। कुछ प्रसिद्ध संतों के प्रवचन दोहे लेकर उसे एक भजन का रूप दिया है। माटी कहे कुम्हार से, माटी कहे कुम्हार से, माटी कहे कुम्हार से, तू क्या रौंदे मोही। माटी कहे कुम्हार से, तू क्या रौंदे मोही। एक दिन ऐसा आएगा मैं रोंदूंगी तो है। एक दिन ऐसा आएगा मैं रोंदूंगी तो है। माटी कहे कुम्हार से, आए हैं सो जाएंगे, आए हैं सो जाएंगे, राजा रंक फकीर। आए हैं सो जाएंगे, राजा रंक फकीर। एक सिंहासन चढ़ी चले, एक बंधे जंजीर। एक सिंहासन चढ़ी चले, एक बंधे जंजीर। दुर्बल को न सताइए, दुर्बल को न सताइए। जाकी मोटी हाय रे, बिना जीभ की हाय से लोहा भस्म हो जाए। चलती चक्की देख के, संत कबीर ने इस धरती और आकाश की तुलना एक चक्की के दो पाठों से की है, जिसमें गेहूं पिसकर आटा बनता है। इन पंक्तियों में एक शब्द का उपयोग है, हाड़। हाड़ कहते हैं शरीर। संत कबीर कहते हैं, चलती चक्की देख के भय कबीर उदास। दो पाठन के बीच में, दो पाठन के बीच में साबुत बचा न कोई। दो पाठन के बीच में साबुत बचा न कोई। हाड़ जले जूं लाकड़ी, हाड़ जले जूं लाकड़ी। केश जले जूं घास रे, सब जग जलता देख के भय कबीर उदास। सब जग जलता देख के भय कबीर उदास। कबीरा खाई कोट की, पानी पीवे न कोई। कबीर कहते हैं कि गंदे नाले का पानी कोई नहीं पीता, पर वही नाला कहीं जाकर गंगा में मिल जाता है और लोग आगे उसी को पीना शुरू करते हैं। तो कहते हैं आपका जीवन किस प्रकार का भी हो, ईश्वर में लीन हो जाइए, मिल जाइए। कबीरा 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 खाई कोट की, पानी पीवे न कोई। जाए मिले जब गंग से, जाए मिले जब गंग से, तो गंगो तक हो। जाए मिले जब गंग से, तो गंगो तक हो। तुलसी तुलसी सब करें, तुलसी 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 सब करें। तुलसी बन की घास रे, हो गई कृपा राम की, तो बन गए तुलसीदास। हो गई कृपा राम की, तो बन गए तुलसीदास। रही मन धागा धागा। रहीम कहते हैं रही मन धागा, प्रेम का न तोड़ो किच का। रही मन धागा प्रेम का, ना तोड़ो किच का। तोड़े से ये ना जुड़े, जुड़े तो गांठी पड़ जाए। तोड़े से ये ना जुड़े, जुड़े तो गांठी पड़ जाए। आप सब जानते हैं रहीम थे तो मुसलमान, पर बहुत बड़े कृष्ण भक्त थे और बहुत बड़े दानी थे, बहुत दान करते थे। पर एक विशेषता थी कि जिसको वो दान देते उनसे अपनी नजरें नहीं मिलाते। तो कुछ लोगों ने इसे उनका घमंड समझा, अहंकार समझा। तो बात पहुंची संत कबीर तक। तो संत कबीर तो जानते थे, तो उन्होंने 2 पंक्तियां लिख के भेजी रहीम पे कि ऐसी देनी देन क्यों किथ सीखे सोहने, जूं जूं कर ऊंचो करो त्यों त्यों नीचो नैन, जूं जूं कर ऊंचो करो त्यों त्यों नीचो नैन। तो इस पर रहीम ने 2 पंक्तियां और लिख के भेजी। देनहार कोई और है, देनहार कोई और है, जो भेजत दिन रैन, लोग भरम हम पर करें, लोग भरम हम पर करें, तासो नीचो नैन, लोग भरम हम पर करें, तासो नीचो नैन। तुलसी इस संसार में, तुलसी इस संसार में, सबसे मिलिए प्यार से, तुलसी इस संसार में, सबसे मिलिए प्यार से, ना जाने किस रूप में नारायण मिल जाए, क्या जाने किस रूप में नारायण मिल जाए, क्या जाने किस रूप में नारायण मिल जाए। डी तबले पर हरिनाथ जी जो मेरे साथ बजा रहे हैं, ये पहली बार हम लोग आज मिले हैं, इससे पहले कभी मिले नहीं हैं। तो हम दोनों घबरा रहे थे बजाने और गाने के लिए। तो इस पे एक डॉक्टर का वाकया मुझे याद आया। एक डॉक्टर साहब थे, उनके पास एक मरीज़ गए, तो डॉक्टर साहब ने बोला कि सर्जरी करनी पड़ेगी। तो एक डेट फिक्स हुआ। तो उस दिन पहुँचे तो द पेशेंट वॉज शिवरिंग। तो डॉक्टर ने बोला क्या बात है, आप इतना घबरा क्यों रहे हैं? तो वो बोले कि नहीं डॉक्टर साहब, दरअसल पहली बार मैं ऑपरेशन करा रहा हूँ। तो डॉक्टर बोले अरे इसमें घबराने की क्या बात है, मुझे देखो, मैं भी पहली बार ऑपरेशन कर रहा हूँ। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है, नंदलाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है। गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है, नंदलाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। भजन सुनना बहुत पुण्य का काम है, जो आप सब कर रहे हैं, पर भजन गाना उससे भी बड़े पुण्य का काम है। आइए ये पुण्य मिलाकर कमाते हैं। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला। बहुत अच्छा गाते हैं आप लोग। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला। मोर मुकुट शिर गल बनमाला, केसर तिलक लगाए, केसर तिलक लगाए। मोर मुकुट शिर गल बनमाला, केसर तिलक लगाए, केसर तिलक लगाए। मधुर मुरलिया जब भी बजावे, हर ले सुध बुध सारी, ओह हर ले सुध बुध सारी। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला। भजन टेका दीजिए। जिन जिन चक चक जी जिन चक। ये बात ऑपरेशन के समय मरीज हाथ पैर बाहर निकाल रहे हैं। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला। हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। गिरधर नागर कहती मीरा, गिरधर नागर कहती मीरा, गिरधर नागर कहती मीरा। सूर को शाम लुभाया, सूर को शाम लुभाया। तुकाराम और नामदेव ने विठल विठल गाया, ओह विठल विठल गाया, ओह विठल विठल गाया। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। राधा शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे, श्यामल दर्शन पावे। राधा शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे, श्यामल दर्शन पावे। आराधन कर राधे 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 राधे। श्याम मिला दे राधे राधे, श्याम मिला दे राधे राधे, श्याम मिला दे। आराधन कर राधे राधे, कान्हा भागे आवे, ओह कान्हा भागे आवे, आह कान्हा भागे आवे। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, जय नंद लाला जय। जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला, 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 जय नंद लाला जय। सरे ग म द म ग रे सनी सरे ग म ग रे सा। गुजरी तोड़ी राग में एक भजन प्रस्तुत करता हूँ। भजन के बोल हैं, कभी कभी भगवान को भक्तों से काम पड़े। भजन में एक नया विचार है, एक नया दृष्टिकोण है, पर वही भक्ति, वही समर्पण, वही श्रद्धा। कभी कभी भगवान को भी भक्तों से काम पड़े। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु के वट की नाव चढ़े। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु के वट की नाव चढ़े। अवध छोड़ प्रभु बन को आए। सिया राम लखन गंगा तक आए। केवट मन ही मन हर्षाए। घर बैठे प्रभु दर्शन पाए। हाथ जोड़ के प्रभु के आगे, हाथ जोड़ के प्रभु के आगे केवट मगन खड़े। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु केवट की नाव चढ़े। प्रभु बोले तुम नाव चलाओ, पार हमें केवट पहुंचाओ। केवट वो नाव चलाने वाले को कहते हैं। केवट ने ये बात सुनी थी कि भगवान श्री राम के चरण एक बार एक पत्थर से लग गए थे और उस पत्थर ने नारी का रूप ले लिया, अहिल्या बन गई। तो केवट सोचने लगा, मेरी नाव तो लकड़ी की है, अगर इसे कुछ होगा तो मेरा क्या होगा। प्रभु बोले तुम नाव चलाओ, पार हमें केवट पहुंचाओ। केवट कहता सुनो हमारी, चरण धूल की माया भारी। मैं गरीब नैया मेरी नारी ना होए पड़े। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु केवट की नाव चढ़े। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु केवट की नाव चढ़े। बड़ा चालाक था केवट। वो जानता था कि भगवान श्री राम वनवास आए हैं अयोध्या छोड़कर, अपना राज छोड़कर, तो मुझे चरण छूने नहीं देंगे। तो कहा, प्रभु एक बार अपने मन की तसल्ली के लिए कंफर्म कर लूं कि आपके पैरों में कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं है। केवट दौड़ के जल भर लाया, चरण धोए चरणामृत पाया। वेद ग्रंथ जिसके यश गाए, केवट उनको नाव चढ़ाए। बरसे फूल गगन से ऐसे बरसे फूल धूल गगन से भक्त के भाग बढ़े। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु केवट की नाव चढ़े। चली नाव गंगा की धारा, हैया हो राम हो, हैया हो राम हो। चली नाव गंगा की धारा, सिया राम लखन को पार उतारा। पार पहुंच गए तो श्री राम ने केवट को कुछ देना चाहा, पर देते क्या, बनवासी राम थे, सब छोड़कर आए थे। तो सीता जी की तरफ इशारा किया, बोले अपनी अंगूठी केवट को दे दो। तो सीता जी ने अंगूठी निकाली और जब केवट को देना चाहा तो केवट ने मना कर दिया। श्री राम ने कहा, ले लो केवट, ये तुम्हारी मजदूरी है और मजदूरी लेने में शर्म नहीं करते। मैं दोहराता हूं इन पंक्तियों को। सिया राम लखन को पार उतारा, प्रभु देने लगे नाव उतराई, केवट कहे नहीं रघुराई। पार किया मैंने तुमको, पार किया मैंने तुमको, अब तू मुझे पार करे। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु केवट की नाव चढ़े। जाना था गंगा पार प्रभु केवट की नाव चढ़े। बोलो राम सीता राम, बोलो राम सीता राम, बोलो राम सीता राम, बोलो श्याम राधे श्याम, बोलो राम राम राम, बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम, बोलो राम राम राम, बोलो श्याम श्याम श्याम। डी शार्प, डी डी। दादरा की लगी, अच्छा चलती भी भजन था। पने सरगा सरगा पधा पमगरे सनी पने सरगा रे सा। है आँख वो, है आँख वो जो शाम का दर्शन किया करे। है शीश जो प्रभु चरण में वंदन किया करे। बेकार वो मुख है, बेकार वो मुख है जो रहे व्यर्थ बातों में। मुख वो है जो हरि नाम का सुमिरन किया करे। हीरे मोती हीरे मोती से नहीं शोभा है हाथ की, है हाथ जो भगवान का पूजन किया करे। मर कर भी अमर नाम है उस जीव का, जग में प्रभु प्रेम में बलिदान जो जीवन किया करें। ये भजन जिसे भी आता है वो मेरे साथ गाएं, पर वहीं बैठकर। ऐसी लागी लगन ऐसी लागी लगन, ऐसी लागी लगन, लागी लागी लगन, ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी, महलों में पली बन के जोगन चली, महलों में पली बन के जोगन चली, 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 बन के जोगन चली। ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी, महलों में दीवानी कहाने लगी। ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। कोई रोके नहीं, कोई टोके नहीं, कोई रोके नहीं, कोई टोके नहीं। मेरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी, बैठी संतों के संग, रंगी मोहन के रंग। मीरा प्रेमी प्रीतम को बुलाने लगी, वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी। ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। ऐसी लागी लगन, मीरा हो गई मगन। राणा ने विष दिया, मानो अमृत दिया। राणा ने विष दिया, मानो अमृत दिया। मीरा सागर में सरिता समाने लगी। दुख लाखों सहे, मुख से गोविंद कहे। मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी, वो तो गली गली हरि गुन गाने लगी, ऐसी लागी लगन मीरा हो गई मगन, ऐसी लागी लगन मीरा हो गई मगन। वो तो गली 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 हरि गुन गाने लगी, ऐसी लागी लगन मीरा हो गई मगन, ऐसी लागी लगन मीरा हो गई मगन, ऐसी लागी लगन मीरा हो गई मगन।
शरद गुप्ता जी ने हम सबको गंगा पार लेकर गया और मीरा के पास लेकर गया, वृंदावन लेकर गया। टाइम समय कहाँ है मालूम नहीं हुआ। राम जी का मीठा, कृष्ण जी का मीठा, रामकृष्ण जी का पास। That is Sharad Gupta. Swami Ranganathanandaji used to enjoy his bhajans, sitting in the front row and being absorbed in the devotion. So we thought Maharaj will be very happy to listen to Sharad Gupta ji. So we're very wonderful, happy. And koi bol raha tha, hamare common devotee, why you limited time to half an hour? But time is infinite. We will have another session completely only on Bhajan Sandhya of Sharad Gupta ji in the future, because he is our own family member of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission. Along with his family, he has come here. Jai Ramakrishna. We are very thankful and wonderful bhajan support by Harnath, our volunteer on the tabla. So we'll continue our satsang and other part of the program now. Before we go into the main lecture on eternal values for a changing society, the favorite topic of revered Ranganathanandaji Maharaj, to recall the memories and to listen to the voice, the vibrant, powerful, dynamic voice of Vedanta, we have selected a small bit of a lecture of revered Ranganathanandaji Maharaj, which he spoke in this very auditorium, maybe 1989, 1990, like that. So I request that it's a practical Vedanta lecture on 1988, I think. It will be played on the big screen for 10-15 minutes.
Every Sunday, we were studying the Bhagavad Gita.
This is in this very auditorium.
We are now in the 9th chapter. But today, 23rd July, is a bad weather situation, and so hundreds of people could not come to attend the evening lecture. So I felt I should not continue with the text of the Gita. Even last week was a bad weather, but a few sizable people could come here. But today it is different, extremely bad weather. And so I decided to speak on a subject which is closely related to the Gita and the Upanishads, namely Swami Vivekananda's teaching of practical Vedanta. Vedanta is what you find in the Upanishads and in the Gita. How to live it, how to practice it in day-to-day life, in various life situations. That is a very important question taken up by the Gita a few thousand years ago, taken up by Swami Vivekananda in our own time. It is called practical Vedanta. In fact, there are 4 lectures by Swami Vivekananda delivered in England in 1896 with this very title, Practical Vedanta. So this Gita has been expounding practical Vedanta. Unless an idea can be put into practice, it becomes just empty without any useful purpose. Is Vedanta merely meant for discussion, intellectual cogitation? No, from the very beginning, the sages of the Upanishads have said it is meant to be lived, meant to be practiced, meant to be realized. That this human life can have no better objective than to realize the truth that is hidden in all of us. The Upanishads had said this, that by a thorough investigation into the human individuality, the sages had discovered the immortal behind the mortal, the infinite behind the finite. But this is only just a truth which we discover by our own inner penetration and not merely by intellectual cogitation. The sages wanted all humanity to understand this truth and try to go towards that truth. That is the goal of human evolution according to Vedanta. That this human body alone has the capacity to investigate this truth and realize it. In one of the verses of the Srimat Bhagavatam, you find this statement that the human body has a unique capacity to realize the infinite hidden in the finite. Brahman, the ultimate reality, is hidden within us. The whole universe is a product of Brahman. And so the cause is inherent in the effect. That is a scientific dictum. Whatever is cause comes out in the effect. What is not in the cause cannot be found in the effect. Therefore, if the world has come from Brahman, every particle of this world must possess that Brahman. But the particle cannot understand this truth. But when evolution comes to the human level, there is the capacity to understand this truth and live it. So man alone can realize this truth. He alone seeks for God. He alone realizes God. Throughout human history, hundreds of people have realized the divine. We call them mystics. Christian mystics, Sufi mystic, Buddhist, Hindu, all sorts of mystics are there who speak the language of experience. I have seen, not that I know or I believe, but I have seen, I have realized, Veda Ametam, that is the language of the Upanishads. I have known this truth, that there is an infinite man behind this finite man. That's why Vivekananda said in his lecture in America during question answer session, when the questioner asked him, are you not preaching some sort of hypnotism? You are putting some hypnotic ideas to people. Immediately came the answer from Vivekananda. No, I am not hypnotizing. I am dehypnotizing people. They are already hypnotized into thinking they are small, they are petty, they are this tiny ego. I want to dehypnotize them, make them realize their own true nature. So this concept of the true nature of man and the human life geared in that direction to realize it. This body can't be put to a better use than that. That is the stress in all Vedanta. Everybody's birthright. We don't utilize that birthright. That should not be. And in this modern period, due to various developments in science and technology, Swami Vivekananda found tremendous interest in this subject of man's evolution, not at the level of the animal. That evolution is finished, which is organic evolution. Organic evolution has no meaning in the case of one whom nature has given the finest organ by which he can do anything, that is the brain. There is no organic evolution. Organic evolution is very, very secondary in the case of man. But evolution is something higher. That is ethical, moral, spiritual evolution. That's a beautiful conception. In practical Vedanta, this is the stress that is made all the time, that this human being must grow. Growth is the key word in this concept of evolution of man. By merely enjoying all the products of technology and civilization, human life doesn't go forward at all. It is just going round and round. There is no direction, there is no progress. In fact, the concept of progress in the 19th century, early 20th century, was a very poor concept. Concept of progress means more gadgets, more enjoyments, more comfort, more pleasure. The primitive man had so little, the civilized man has so much, therefore there is progress. This concept of progress has been criticized by various thinkers. One of them I especially refer, namely Disraeli, the British Prime Minister of nearly 70, 80 years ago. One of his beautiful sentences is, the European talks of progress because by the aid of a few scientific discoveries, he has constructed a society which mistakes comfort for civilization. More comfortable, more civilized. That is not civilization. There is some inner growth in man. That is neglected in this concept of progress. So real progress towards love, compassion, feeling of oneness with all, the spirit of service. Here you find man growing from a genetically limited individual to an expansive personality. This is the concept of human development. Evolution at the human stage, therefore, is psychosocial evolution and not organic evolution according to 20th century biology. Psychosocial evolution. It's a very beautiful new concept that this psyche, which is so tied to my organic system, I detach it from that system, I expand it and feel my oneness with millions of psyches in society. That is real progress. Progress in compassion, progress in love and concern. This is what the world is seeking today. The capacity to love people. We have lost that capacity in the name of civilization, in the name of technology, etc. Several Western thinkers have stressed this point, that the world is in a mess. We can clear this mess only by helping people to generate love in their hearts. Then everything will be all right. I am quoting Bertrand Russell in this connection. He said, a little love must come in the human heart. He calls it a little Christian love. Beautiful concept. Then problems will be solved easily. We have lost that capacity. It is there you find evolution taking a higher course. It is not adding more and more gadgets, more and more technology, more and more this and that. That won't solve the problem. Beyond a certain level, these things are unnecessary. These things are bad. In fact, a man like Sir Julian Huxley has criticized this craze for consumer goods, endless craze. I am quoting his sentences uttered in the course of his lecture at the Chicago Centenary Celebrations of Darwin. That was 1959. All those proceedings come to you in 3 volumes, published by Chicago University. Evolution after Darwin, 100 years of evolution. There, this Julian Huxley protested against this consumerism, which is treated as the real meaning of civilization. I am quoting his words: quantity of material production is not an end in itself. It is a means to a further end. More than a certain number of calories, cocktails, washing machines and TV sets per person is not only unnecessary but bad. Quantity must be subordinate to quality. What is the quality of your life? Are you peaceful? Can you love people? Can you live at peace with others? Now these are more important than I own this, I own that, etc. So this protest, not coming from a man of religion, but a man of science itself, against mere consumerism, where you get stagnant at the organic level. There is no evolution then. It is stagnation. Evolution means movement. In which direction shall we move? To that question, the great sages of the Upanishads had given to realize the Atman, the infinite self, the one with all. We are all one, infinite self. The Gita had told us in one of the verses, God incarnate as Krishna, saying, I am the thread that runs through all these pearls. What a beautiful idea. The whole world is full of pearls, and thread running through that, that is the divine. In and through you and me, the divine is manifest. He had said like that there. In today's biology, this concept is taken up as you evolve from this genetically limited ego to an expansive self. You can feel your oneness with others. Physically you are separate, but spiritually you realize your oneness with others. That is the meaning of psychosocial evolution. And so this protest against consumerism on the one side, that is what makes for stagnation at the organic level. Today's civilization is stagnant at the organic level, and all the evils you find in civilization come from that stagnation. Whenever life energy becomes stagnant at a particular level, all evils come out of the stagnation. A flowing water is pure and clean. This concept of life is a movement, but movement with a direction. There is plenty of movement today, but no direction. In which direction shall I go? That has been answered ages ago in the Upanishads, when they discovered that within this limited human being, there is an infinite dimension.
This entire powerful, important topic, lecture is in the YouTube. Those who are serious and want to know more about it can listen to those lectures. And all these are put into a book form called Practical Vedanta and Science of Values. 4 lectures he had given on the stage. It is into a book form edited by him, Ranganathanandaji himself. Practical Vedanta and Science of Values. It is there available in our bookshop. So we shall go forward in our journey. May I request the guest speaker of the day, Sri V. Srinivas, of Illumin Knowledge Resource Mumbai to come onto the stage. We'll have a small lighting of the lamp and offering flowers to Revered Maharaj and also continue with the program. As you had heard by his own words, in that short excerpt that we had placed before you, Maharaj was insisting on, or his focus of activity and message was on the inner possibilities, the divinity of man, and applying it in daily life. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, he was insisting on this application of Vedantic teachings of the Upanishads, of the Gita and our great Acharyas in our daily life. That is what Vivekananda's vision was and Vivekananda's mission was. So it is not just theory, it is not just discussions, it is not just rituals, but awakening the divinity in man. Maharaj always had quoted Bertrand Russell in his lectures. So many times we hear about it, about Julian Huxley's concept of consumerism and civilization. Whether it was a watchman in Ramakrishna Math, Hyderabad, or whether it was the Prime Minister, whether it was a great scientist in the world, or the great judges or ambassadors, east or west, north or south, he had this message in front of them. And even to such an extent, the Naxalites used to come silently, secretly. Ram Babu Gar is there, he used to tell that incident where Maharaj asked him, when somebody came with a disguise covering himself and left through the back door in his quarters. Then Ram Babu Gar, the former IAS officer and Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam EO, who worked closely with Maharaj for nearly 30-40 years till his end. Maharaj asked him, do you know who came just now? But since there was that covering of his face, Ram Babu Garu did not recognize. He said that is Kondapalli Sitaramaya, Naxalite leader, who had come all the way from Chhattisgarh to discuss about social development with Swami Ranganathanandaji. So that was the range, that was the sweep, that was the extreme width and depth of his personality which have touched everybody, both inside and outside. So that Maharaj's, this one we are celebrating today. Actually 15th December, as per the calendar, is Maharaj's birthday. So we try to maintain that spirit of service and practical Vedanta. So today we have Srinivas Venkataraman, the founder and CEO of Illumin Knowledge Resources, who is incidentally an initiated disciple of Revered Ranganathanandaji. So we thought it will be appropriate to rekindle the memorial lecture series through one of Maharaj's disciples who has come all the way to Hyderabad. He is alumnus of IIT Mumbai and MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. He has also been awarded a D.Litt by the Vivekananda University, that is the Ramakrishna Mission University, in 2019, and the Vivekananda Award by the Institute of Culture this year, just a couple of days back in the Gold Park. He has been awarded the Vivekananda Award. So how did he start this? He was initially into IT business. He had his own company. But then Maharaj intervened. He said, take up something of Swamiji's message. And he sold that business. You'll come to his personal this one through him only. In 1996, Srinivas set up Illumin Knowledge Resources dedicated to translating Swami Vivekananda's vision of practical Vedanta and Swami Ranganathanandaji's vision of enlightened citizenship. There is another beautiful lecture of Ranganathanji, Enlightened Citizenship, given in Ramakrishna Mission, New Delhi. So it is not just a voting citizen, it is not just a good devotee, but our people should be enlightened in the Upanishadic terms, in the Vedantic terms. He has given certain models of human development and education across various sectors in the society, whether government, union territories, public sectors like SBI, Bharat Petroleum, and Tata Steel, Tata Consultancy Services, Asian Paints, educational institutions in Gujarat, in Biju Patnaik University in Odisha, and consistently, continuously working with the Ramakrishna Mission centers, whether it's Hyderabad, whether it's New Delhi, and whether it's Belur Math, whether it's Gol Park, and recently, just maybe a month back, I think, November, through the sponsorship of the Ministry of Culture, Srinivas and his team have produced a beautiful, extremely thoughtful documentary called Swadesh Chetana, worth all the students in the education institution should watch this again and again, tracing the entire history of India, its downfalls, its conquering, its progress, its culture, up to Swami Vivekananda's time, up to the lectures from Colombo to Almora. So that was inaugurated during our Heads Conference, and now it is available in Belur Math website, Swadesh Chetana. So that is the contribution of Srinivas Venkatraman and his team. These ideas have been applied into the lives of more than 4 million people across India, university students, school students, career seekers, teachers, bankers, name them, and they are in the list of Illumin Knowledge Resources and his teams. So the message which Vivekananda had put in 29 lectures, it is also now put into small subjects in Vedanta Kesari, monthly issue, which comes from Chennai. The Colombo to Almora lectures is being devised, it's been worked out with graphics, with case studies, with examples, so that even a school student or a college student will understand the message of Swamiji which is put into Colombo to Almora lectures. So, without wasting much time, I hand over this platform to V. Srinivas to speak on eternal values for a changing society. V. Srinivas.
First of all, my pranams to Revered Maharaj and to all the senior sadhus here. And greetings to all of you who are here in the audience. To me, this particular talk here is of special importance because this is the place of my Guru. And that's naturally talking about how his ideas have been taken into the world for the last 25 years is a topic which there is no better forum to speak than in this auditorium. So thank you, Maharaj, for giving me this opportunity. Before I start off on some of the thoughts which are there, let me just share with you a little of my association with Swami Ranganathan, or rather how he molded it. You see, Swami Ranganathananda was such a vast personality. He had people who were associated with him at all levels. I was a mere, just one of the so many devotees who were there. But I think that there were three things which I just thought I should kind of share with you. The first is that after my initiation and with Swami Ranganathananda, or through my contact with Swami Ranganathananda, I found that he was capable and he brought about a total revolution in the thought process. And that revolution is still continuing. Because I think his ideas and what he spoke about put a new center of consciousness inside you. It put a new way of looking at the whole world. And when you start looking at the world through how he was, even 1% of what he was looking at, suddenly everything looks different, everything unfolds in a totally different way. And I think I went through that experience, and I'm sure many of you have gone through it. The second thing was that I would come every month to see him and show him our work in Illumine, and he would, I don't think he ever said, don't do something. So he was always positive. But his encouragement, on the level of encouragement, told me where I should be putting my attention. And so his guidance was also very unique, because his guidance was not about don't do this, don't do that, but rather do this or do this, this is even better. So I thought that idea of affirmative guidance, which was his hallmark, is something which has stayed as one of the most extraordinary parts of that interaction. And the third thing which he did was that he also put together, in a sense, the team who's working at Illumine, because many of the core members of the team at that time were also initiated by him, they were also blessed by him. So in a sense, whatever has been done since then, in a sense, he put into place the team also and the ideas also for getting it done. So with this background, let me kind of also share with you a little about what we have been doing, so that you get a sense of why perhaps I am here. So since then, right from 96 to date, our team at Illumine, we are in Bombay, we have been trying to work to see how each of those ideas which he speaks about in his lectures, or at least the core ideas that he speaks about, not all of them, but some of them, can be translated into practical models which people can use inside organizations, inside schools, colleges, etc. So which means that we have to apply it into practice in every possible way and watch its results. And I can assure you that each of those ideas there is potent enough to have unfolded over thousands of people through in so many different ways, that it gives us an idea that what he put before us in all his lectures were seeds of great trees. Each of his lectures was nothing but a seed, or 3-4 seeds which he was putting to our minds, and nurturing it and allowing that seed to grow into a mighty tree. I think he left it to our own interest and our own desire to make it into a tree. And so I will share with you a few seeds which have become trees, and with that I hope, it will also give you some thoughts and ideas about how things, it was a vast, it was a casket full of gold, so a few gold coins I am talking about, but there are many more there waiting for all of us. So let me start with the first thought, which Swami Ranganathananda's very fundamental shift in perspective that he brought about is the idea of that infinite self, or which Swamiji talks about. In fact, if you see the concordance to Swami Vivekananda's lectures, you will find that the idea called infinite possibilities is barely spoken about by Swami Vivekananda 2-3 times. He has spoken about the self, the Atman, he has talked about the divinity within all of these. But what Swami Ranganathananda did was that he turned that into a very affirmative model, which he says that each one of us has got infinite possibilities. Now the minute you say, not that I am the self, which is a kind of far off spiritual concept, but you say that I have infinite possibilities, suddenly even a school child can say, yes, I agree with you, even I have some possibilities. So even a child says I have possibilities, even a youth says I have possibilities, everybody says I have some possibilities. And the point he was making was that you have not only few, you have infinite possibilities. Now this idea of infinite possibility has to be thought about. Because you will see, you go to schools, the teachers will tell you, oh, you have possibilities, of course you have potential, he has potential. But in the next breath, they will tell you, he's a bright child, you are not a bright child. In the one breath, they will say, yes, all our students, we try to bring out our potential. But in the next breath, they will say that he has so much talent, this person has so much talent. But this vision of human possibility says that there is an infinite amount of talent coiled up inside each one of us. There is an infinite range of possibilities coiled up within us, available within us. And all we have to do as human beings in our lives is to manifest these possibilities as much as possible, fully. So it's a very positive, affirmative vision of the self. And this vision is so powerful, we in fact converted this basic idea into a program which many of you might be knowing about, called the Awakened Citizen Program, which is run by Ramakrishna Mission Delhi in more than 5,000 schools now, and more than 1 million children get it. So we unfolded that idea of possibility and say, what kind of possibilities? And suddenly you will find that there is one layer of possibilities that we have, which we see in the world around us, which is physical possibilities that we can see. People can play sports, or people are able to, engage with music, with art, with so many things are there, so many possibilities you can see at the physical plane. But if you go even deeper, there are possibilities which are sitting at the knowledge plane. Possibilities which a scientist may manifest, where you dive deep into nature, and Einstein manifests. A creative person, a highly creative person manifests. These are all creative in the sense of a person who is able to come out with very deep ideas on philosophy or in literature, etc. In so many fields, these knowledge possibilities are also coming out of human beings. But if you go even deeper, there are also character possibilities. The tremendous heroism can come out. This sense of harmony and oneness with people can come out. And, this sense of this seeking of truth can come out. So there are so many possibilities in a human being. So this first message of Swami Ranganathananda was, unfold your possibilities and manifest them. And he says that if you do, you will find fulfillment. Which is nothing but Swamiji's idea of manifest the divinity within, but taken, it can be applied to our life in a very different way. Then he says, and which is the next idea, he asks, how should I do it? How do I manifest these possibilities? And then for that, the answer he says is that if you have to manifest these possibilities, you can manifest these possibilities through positive struggle. Now, what do we mean by positive struggle in a sense? You see, there are two kinds of struggle. There is one kind of struggle that many of us talk about. Oh, I'm struggling in life. We are struggling for money. We are struggling to, cope with life, handle life, do things. All this, I'm not getting promotion. All this kind of struggle also we all know about. But what Swami Ranganathananda was pointing out, and you could hear that even in this lecture, was that there is a second kind of struggle which is there, which is not this coping kind of struggle, not this worldly or material struggle which is there, but the evolutionary struggle. So he says that this evolutionary struggle of man, if you struggle through that, what he called psychosocial evolution, which you just heard, that psychosocial evolution or evolutionary struggle, when you do, those infinite possibilities start manifesting. So he says, how to manifest the possibility? Through this psychosocial evolution. and through this conscious effort and evolutionary struggle. And then he goes on to say this evolutionary struggle which is there, in fact connects in a wonderful way to Swami Ranganathananda's ideal, which he places before this whole nation, which is the idea of Tyaga and Seva. What is Tyaga? Tyaga seen in the context of evolutionary struggle means diving deep within, seeking the truth within. And Seva means expanding oneself, which means widening oneself. You saw even in this talk, he speaks about these two things. Dive deep within, expand yourself. So this twin strategy he gives us. Dive deep, expand. Dive deep, expand. The more you dive deep, through meditation, through self-reflection, through deep engagement with, through search for truth, when you dive deep inside, it digs deep and awakens the possibilities. When you expand yourself, include the whole world, engage with people, engage with challenges. When expansion means struggle again. It means there will be obstruction, there will be all kinds of this one. Your life has to be an eternal Ashwamedha Yagya, where that horse which is there, that expansion has to take place by trying to include. It's not an expansion of conquest. It's an expansion of inclusion. Expansion of conquest is what conquerors do, like say for example big businessmen do, etc. They are all doing expansion through conquest. But Swami Ranganathan is telling us, no, expand through inclusion. Expand through including others into your whole thing. So these two twin messages he starts out with, which is infinite possibilities and manifesting that possibilities. So with this foundation you will find in so many parts of his work. And once these foundational ideas are there, you can see many things unfold and make sense perfectly in the light of these two basic ideas. I have infinite possibilities and I can manifest them through evolutionary struggle. Now keeping that in mind, the question now is how to apply this into practice. How to now apply it? How does a banker become a better banker? How does, as Swami Vivekananda says, asks, how does a lawyer become a better lawyer? How does a fisherman become a better fisherman? That is practical Vedanta. How to achieve that is the next part of the whole story. So yes, we must manifest the struggle. We must awaken our possibilities within. But how do I translate it into the day-to-day life in which I lead? Because this is still one level higher than where we are sitting. This is still at a level where I have to, it's a principle of living. But from that principle of living, I have to bring it down into a model of living, a way of living which I can practice morning to night. And that model of living is what Swami Ranganathananda presents. And you will see that coming out in that book, Eternal Values for a Changing Society. Again and again, whether he is addressing teachers, whether he is addressing administrators, is addressing these, he's telling them how to do it. He's saying, how am I going to live this in my day-to-day life? And how am I going to translate this into action? And for that, there are 3-4 very fundamental and wonderful ideas which actually we can look at and apply it into our life as a model of living. What do I mean by a model of living? Model of living means it is something which I have to take on and try to live according to that model. It's a methodology or a process that I follow. It's a way of working. If I follow, if I practice it, then I will see the results. Merely thinking about the idea will not help. I have to practice the model. So if you practice this model, you will see the results in your life. So what are some of the elements of that model which are there? And so let me start with the first one. In 1960 around was one of the first times when he talked about the idea. That was 60 years ago. 62 years ago, he talked about the idea of being and function. He said, he asked the question that when somebody asks you and asks you to describe yourself or asks you about your identity, what will you reply? Are you going to, most of us will reply describing what I do or what I have. They will say, I am a teacher, I am a lawyer, I am an administrator, I am XYZ, I work here, I do this, I do that. This is all what I do. If you are not doing anything great and useful in society, you feel small. You say, oh, I am not doing anything. That means that if that function layer is not talked about or manifest, we feel we are nothing in society. But he says that this is not the who am I layer, this is the what I do layer. The who am I layer is beneath this what I do layer, which is that who am I layer is deeper. It is the being layer of our personality. So put differently, there are two aspects to us when we are describing ourselves. Who am I and what I do. What I do is lawyer, engineer, etc. But who am I is what possibilities I have manifest inside me. If I have character, that is who am I. If I have a sense of fulfillment, that is at the who am I layer. If I feel strength to face any crisis or any situation, that is at that who am I layer. So he says, strengthen that who am I layer. He says, you must also strengthen what I do. We must also strengthen what I do. You must also strengthen who am I. So he wants dual evolution. He says, strengthen who am I and strengthen what I do, both together. Then you will ask, how can I strengthen both who am I and what I do? How to grow in this both the ways? Because I can come to the mud separately, I can work separately. How to integrate the two? How to make it one life? How is it that I am, sitting there, I am dealing with, say, customers or I am dealing with citizens. Now, how should I integrate this who am I and what I do? And there he gives an answer. He says that who am I integrates with what I do when something very beautiful and unique happens, which is when the being, which is the who am I, flows into what I do. He says that being must integrate into function. What does that mean? It means if I am doing a simple thing like serving somebody at home, or can I not serve in a functional way, but can I function in such a way so that my being comes into my function, so there is a human touch to it. When there is a human touch, I have come into it. So he says, first he says, separate your I from the work that you do. So don't get identified with that position that you hold. But you identify with your being, but then don't stop by identifying yourself as a being and detach yourself from society. Bring back that being and flow it into every action that you do in a positive way. So he says that when I do that, I am doing some work, pour your heart into it. What is that heart? That heart is that being. When I pour my heart into it, it will become excellent. So excellence will come when I do that. When I give my heart and soul into anything, when I give a human touch to anything, when I take up the total responsibility for anything, when I am wholly engaged with life in a wonderful sort of way, that kind of thing when it happens, and engaged not functionally but with my eye, then he says excellence comes, and with that, that being flows into function. So this is a complex concept. I have explained to you, but already it is like getting complex. But let us see how it gets applied in practice. So many years back, we worked with State Bank of India. State Bank of India, we worked on a project called Citizen SBI. In fact, at that time, in 2011, and I'm specifically taking that one, I'll take one recently also as another example. We called it Citizen SBI, where in State Bank of India, we said that first point that it was around 2011, 2012, it was the largest ever such project. More than 2 lakh people got it across State Bank. And at that time we said that there is the whole idea that if you take this being and function, who am I and what I do, so that who am I is I am a citizen SBI. That means I am an SBI, I am a citizen of SBI. Similarly, all of us are citizens of this country. So that is our common identity, our being level identity. But the functional identity in an organization will be, I am a general manager, I am a clerk, I am a branch manager, etc. So at a functional level, there may be differences. CGM is high, GM is low, branch manager is lower. You can see a hierarchy. But at a being level, at a citizen SBI level, all are one. There is no difference in one person to another. We are all equal. And when that citizen SBI, that love for that bank, love for the country, love for the citizens, when that flows into my work, then whether I do the work as a branch manager, whether I do the work as a regional manager, whether I do as a DMD, my work will become excellent. So that is the practical application of it. You have to convert that who am I into what I do. Let me give you another practical application of it, which we did recently with Indian Railways. Now you take Indian Railways, for example, same question comes. There are ticket collectors, there are TCs, there are station masters, there are the millions of customers. We said, yes, that is true. But beneath all of these things, there is a common identity. That is, we are Rail Karma Yogis. Rail Karma Yogi is my being level identity. If I think of myself as a Karma Yogi, then that will shape my attitude to my work. It will shape everything. Now you be a TT, you be a station master, you be this. We are all different at one level. But at a Rail Karma Yogi, we are all one. And as Rail Karma Yogi, it is our job to serve the citizens of the country. It is our duty and it is also our joy to serve the citizens of our country. So this kind of common identity is at a deeper level. And this is what he meant when he says that we have to become enlightened citizens. So at a common being level, we are all enlightened citizens of this country. But at a functional level, we are all performing different roles. So at a common level, we are all one together serving this nation, trying to build this nation, trying to build it up. But at a functional level, we are all different from each other. So this idea is a wonderful idea that and we have applied this one idea of Swami Ranganathananda to at least about 5 lakh people. Simple one idea, it has gone to 5 in different forms and shapes. That is the power of these ideas which he gives in these lectures. They are not YouTube lectures, they are living realities which when it goes into the world, I have seen lives transform. But he doesn't stop there. He also gives us through his very many lectures various strategies for living. He says, okay, I am now a citizen or I am a being level I am going to talk about. But you know, there are so many things that shape our thinking. We have what are called mental models. These mental models have been built over the ages by people. We have been acclimatized. You see, he's like, for example, Maharaj talks about the fact that you know, the whole idea that you need to dehypnotize. So when he talks about Swamiji, Swami Ranganathan talks about saying that Swami Vivekananda was dehypnotizing people. What is that dehypnosis? Let us first understand what is that hypnosis. What are we hypnotized by? That we have to be dehypnotized. Let us ask that question. Let me give you one simple example of our hypnosis. The first hypnosis, for example, is our measure of success. Go around you in the world and see what is the measure of success. What measures of success we are using? Our only measure of success that we use are the fruits that you see in the world. Maybe in the pressings of the mud, and a few of us who are there might have different measure, but 95% of the world have only one measure of success, which is success in the world. Now, what does Swami Ranganathananda tell us? He says, right now as a citizen, as an enlightened citizen, I don't want you to give up everything and say that this measure of success is invalid. He doesn't tell us that. He instead says, expand your vision of success. How do you expand it? He says, whenever you work, whatever you do, ask yourself, measure yourself on 2 kinds of success, not one kind of success. What are those 2 kinds of success? Outer fruits and inner fruits. He says when you go to work, suppose say for example you have got a higher salary, very good, that is an outer fruit. The question to be asked is, did you get any inner fruits? Did you struggle for it? Did you do your best for it? Did you serve the citizen for it? if you had served the citizen, you would have expanded, your human possibilities would have got unfolded, your being would be rich with new qualities, you would have feel contentment, you will feel strength, you will feel all those qualities. When that happens, then you have got inner fruits. So he says you measure yourself not in one way, measure yourself with this dual measure. It's a phenomenal thing because you try this measure on a day-to-day basis. It is not an ordinary thing, it's a practice tool. Tomorrow you look at a job, suppose we say, oh, there was so much difficulty there. That was one kind of thing. For a minute you ask, what are the outer fruits I got? What are the inner fruits I got? Outer fruits may be the job was a failure. But inner fruit may be because of that I have become much stronger, I have learned new things, I have become courageous and I know how to win next time. That is how we handle failure when we have a new view of measurement. So in every part of life, similarly, somebody is given, you take that same, whether you take, somebody is given we've actually got beautiful examples from people. Somebody was given a punishment posting. He was sent to some small village. He says, that man says that it came to my mind that I should not, this punishment posting is not a punishment posting, but it is an opportunity for me. He didn't know these terms, inner fruits, but he meant it. And so when we gave him, he said, yes, this is what I was thinking. I felt that why don't I use this as an opportunity to transform myself? So he goes to the village and believe it or not, you know what he did? He went across to all the villagers, got them into banking, got them integrated in a different way altogether with the bank, and because of that he was given a special mention and he was given a much higher position as a result of pouring it. So with inner fruits, he chose only inner fruits. He said, outer fruits you have not given, leave it. I will go after inner fruits, I will struggle, I will try to do something, but outer fruits follow you. So that is also a message sitting there. What should you chase among the two? Chase inner fruits first, outer fruits will follow. If you chase outer fruits and you try to chase and then ask for inner fruits may or may never come at all. In fact, this same idea, let me give you an example of, we tried this out with, simple these, with slum dwellers, we have tried it out with petrol pump attendants, etc. We give them a very simple tool. We created out of Swami Ranganathanandaji's beautiful little tools for learning. So one of the tools we created is a simple thing called a tree of living. In that, we first ask them, and I've seen this again and again happen. We ask them, what are your aspirations? Aapko kya chahiye? Kya banna hai? Kya chahiye aapko zindagi? They will say, I want गाड़ी बंगला चाहिए, बच्चे लोग का अच्छा पढ़ाई चाहिए, घर अच्छा होना चाहिए, this, that, सुख समृद्धि होना चाहिए, all this they say. We have got small cards there, they put it up. So they see all beautiful cards. Oh, ये सब चाहिए, ये कैसे मिलेगा भाई? कहाँ से मिलेगा? Then they say, मिलने के लिए सर वो जो roots है ना, उसको strong करना है. So वो roots कैसे strong करेंगे? Then they start going and saying, sir, uske liye bal chahiye. Ranganathanji's idea. Atma bal, buddhi bal, bahubal. They themselves come out. Sir, uske liye ye bal chahiye, atma bal chahiye, buddhi bal chahiye, bahubal chahiye. They go on filling it up. Then they say, acha ye bal hoga to fir ye fruits milega. Everybody sees the cause and effect. You may think that, oh, this is such a trivial idea. It is not trivial because many of us even today, perhaps even in this room, believe that many things happen because of luck. We do not believe that it happens due to the quality of roots that we do. And can you believe it? Which is not to say that grace, etc. doesn't exist, but what I'm saying is there is that fruits, that building of that, manifesting that struggle in building that roots exists. And can you believe it? When you then ask those people, what happens when you remove the fruits? So, on the board they are there, we remove all the fruits. Ab kya hoga? They say, roots are there, sir. Agar roots hai, to fir fruits apne aap aayenge. Correct? Then we say, agar roots se nikal denge, to kya reh jayega? सर कुछ नहीं रह जाएगा, बिकॉज वो फ्रूट्स जो है वो भी चले जाएंगे. करेक्ट? So very simple idea, but these are actually the fundamental ideas which Swami Ranganathananda was actually teaching us. That this, we have to develop both kinds of fruits. You may get outer, but you have to develop these inner roots or fruit, whichever way you call it. This is called science of human possibilities. The science of human possibilities is that stop chasing only outer fruits, but start chasing also these, develop the inner fruits along with it, roots along with it, and you will have both together. Similarly, he asked the question, why should I work? They say, yes, I should work because I should get both the fruits. They say that you will understand how to work when you look at what will happen. Why should I work hard? Work, everyone knows. I have to work to earn money. But why should I work hard? Why should I serve a customer? Why should I go out of the way? I want to work hard. And don't think this is an ordinary question, because this was the very question that the chairman of State Bank asked me when he said that, look, as a chairman, I do not have the ability to give any special incentives or any special punishments to anybody. Yet I want State Bank to serve customers. How do I do it? He says, I cannot. Private sector may give some incentives, they may give some punishment. I can give neither. But yet I have to get them to serve customers because we are competing with them. That is when you realize that this idea of measure of success also leads to the intrinsic motivation. When I am chasing inner fruits, I am not waiting for motivation from my boss. I am not waiting for motivation from a speech. I am not waiting for motivation from some improvement. You say, company में कुछ motivation नहीं है, salary नहीं मिलता है, promotion नहीं मिलता है. These are all outer motivations. He says that intrinsic motivation comes because I am chasing inner fruits. Which is what Swami Ranganathananda is saying is what the new society we have to build. It's a society where intrinsic motivation gives tremendous strength, and that is how we will rebuild our nation. It is what our freedom fighters did. They never looked for outer fruits. They looked for inner fruits only for serving the nation. And outer fruits, whether it came or not, didn't matter, right? And out of that, this nation was built, and that is your ideal of Tyaga Seva. Similarly, he also points out that how when you think in these terms, and when you not only think in these terms, you also take it one step further and ask the question that what kind of career do I want? How should I work in my work? What kind of work should I do? I am now saying in a simple language which is more contemporary, but which brings out the very essence of what he was trying to say. He says that stop chasing acquisitive careers. An acquisitive career is one where I want more and more. How do I transact? How do I move from one company to another because somebody has given me 10% higher? So instead of chasing an acquisitive career where you are measuring the company based on how much they are buying you for, you instead, so you don't set yourself in the marketplace for getting bought. Instead, you reverse it and you ask the question, what can I contribute? If I contribute more, that is what is the basis of enlightened citizenship, and that contribution is what becomes your basis for inner fruits. That is what basis becomes for that intrinsic motivation which is there. So you see, it's a single system of thought which is flowing through all his ideas, which is he's saying, wake up, become driven from within. Search within, be driven from within. Don't be a slave to the world. You be the creator of your destiny. Which is fundamentally Swamiji's idea, but Swami Ranganathananda gives us that idea again and again and again. And that is what Swamiji says when he says, give back to the masses their lost individuality. That lost individuality is this pride of who am I, that being level, and that sense of strength, that heroism that comes when I am inside out. Same ideas are flowing again and again in different language, but the basis is the same, but the method for applying it in practice is through these measures, through these application of tools by which you are able to do it. In fact, we've even looked at the whole point that now this is one side of the story. The other side of the story is how should I work? How do I, when I say contribute means what? And here
Let me again take that State Bank example. You know, we did 7 or 8 pilots in different parts of the country with branch managers. If you go to, when we went to some of the branch managers, they said, sir, I am a branch manager. I am only a small branch. Look at State Bank, 20,000 branches are there. DMD is there, GMs are there, DMD, CMD. Where is my level? I am only so much. I can't do anything. We says, yes, you can't do anything because you are seeing the pyramid. Then we said, okay, why don't you do one thing? Turn outside and see the people outside and ask what you can do for them. Yeah, how to do it? We have never done it before. Believe me, this is actually what happened. We went there, we worked with these people and we mapped the communities around. We said, these are the communities around you. Let us look at those communities and now let us discuss how State Bank can serve those communities better, how you as a branch manager, within the limited budgetary powers, within the limited powers given to you, can you serve them? So don't ask what I cannot do, ask what I can do. What is the few things I can do? You will not believe the kind of results they came out with. It is amazing. For example, one branch manager in Orissa, he is a branch manager near Chilika Lake. You've heard of Chilika Lake. He went there and saw that all the fisher people were all around. He says that the fisherwomen and all, they are all in debt because the people they take, monsoons they don't earn, rest of the year they are earning. They drink, they lose their money. So they are in deep debt all the time. The women are not. He says that State Bank, so we said, what can you do as State Bank? Sir, I can't give them money, like I cannot even give them loan, they are not even loan worthy. We said, it's okay, but does State Bank have power? He says, yes. We said, okay, if you have power, do it. Why don't you organize all that people? So they organized NGOs, they organized everybody together and created employment for the women there, who are the wives of the fishermen. They created income for them and told them that 50% of the income you must keep in the bank in your account, not in your husband's account, which cannot go away. So we will empower you and the balance you can give it to your family, so they will allow you to work and do all these things. Through that, this one branch manager, you are not going to believe it, impacted 2 lakh people. This is the power of one branch manager. Similarly, the branch manager who did it in Hosur, another branch manager who did it in Nasik. This is the power that every one single branch manager is there, he can do so much change. I'll give you one more example, just to prove my point. You take Bharat Petroleum. You know, on Swami Vivekananda's birthday, we took up this and we told them, you go and give simple health camps to the people around you. Why? We said that if you serve the people around you, which is not any person, you serve only the truckers. They are your customers. Why don't you try to serve them a little more? Sir, we will not do it. The dealer said, why should we give them free? I said, okay. Then the company said, we worked with the company, we said we will take about 10 places or 5-6 places. We will pilot it and we will pay for it. We will pay for the health camps. They went and ran the health camps for these people. In that health camp, they found they have diabetes, they have this, they have got eye problem, their health, many things they found out, and they gave them they arranged from the local people came. Small budget. You will not believe it, sales went up 30% for those dealers. Why should sales go up 30%? Very simple. If I am a trucker, I am seeing Indian Oil, I am seeing Bharat Petroleum, I am seeing 4 other companies. You will say, this man is coming and helping me and giving me something. These people are not caring for me, they are sitting inside. Who will you go to? You will go to the man who has to help you, right? So you see, unselfishness pays. But you have to have patience for it. That is what Swamiji says. Very simple idea, sales went up, and because of that we made the same people acharyas and made all other dealers shishyas. We launched it after that for 30,000 people on Swami Vivekananda's birthday, and today you will not believe it, more than 6 to 8 lakh truckers have gone through free health camps as a result of these programs. No NGO. Dealers are paying for it because it's enlightened self-interest. So this is how our society can be built. When Swami Ranganathananda has a vision of our society, his vision is that each one of us in small, small roles that we are playing, we stop thinking that I have no power, I stop thinking that nothing is there outside, I instead think that within my role, I am a creator of my destiny, I can expand myself, and through that I can get both outer and inner fruits. Whether I am a branch manager, whether I am a small dealer of a petrol pump, or I am somebody else, I am a teacher, in every place I have the power and the capacity to impact 100 lives, 500 lives, 1,000 lives. Are we using that power? That is what Swami Ranganathananda is asking. Utilize your power to serve, and when you utilize your power to serve, that is called enlightened citizenship. You utilize it, you expand. And when you expand, again what happens? You awaken the power within. You awaken your infinite possibilities. So through this affirmation of our Karma Yogi identity, affirmation of our citizen identity, and through this taking on and by expanding oneself and using the power to serve that we have and serving various people, through these simple strategies, we are following nothing but Swami Ranganathananda's vision of evolutionary struggle, and we are nothing but following Swami Vivekananda's idea of Tyaga and Seva. So in a simple way, all of us can follow it, and with that we can transform millions of lives. This one group of people can go and impact tomorrow at least 5 lakh people. Believe it or not. I am sure that if we, among us, each one of us have got enough capacity, little, 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000, each of us can change somebody's life. Between us, we can change that many lives. Just imagine what we can do together. This is what actually Swami Ranganathananda's vision. And I think with this, I will, Maharaj, I have a few minutes, 2-3 minutes. Yeah. And with this, I would like to kind of wind up and say that this is Swami Ranganathananda's vision of a society also. He says we need a society which is built like this. A society which is built on enlightened self-interest. A society that is civilization. Because to bring about civilization means we become more civilized. That is, we learn to work with each other at that level. We learn to expand and unfold our full potential as human beings. And that, he says, is that new society. And what he has set into motion. What Swamiji has set into motion is a vast engine, and what Swami Ranganathananda has set into motion, whatever with this itself you can bring into place the elements of a new society, and we are all the developers or builders of that new society. We are the early citizens. We are the early citizens of Swamiji's society of tomorrow, the society of human possibilities. And that is what we must all recognize what we are. Thank you.
Should we say fantastic? Should we say thought-provoking? Should we say motivation? Should we say inspiring? All put together is Swami Ranganathanandaji in Shishya's forum. It's not just talking, it is not just appreciating, it is applying. Apply, you will get a reply. The roots will be strengthened. So I've been to his office many times in Mumbai, met his entire team, who are also watching online his talk, their mentors, gurus talk, and how they are sending this message, vibrations of Ranganathanji and Swamiji's original message in practical life. His team helps us a lot in the Human Excellence Institute. They come online, teach our faculty, refresh them with new ideas. And for children, they have produced Swamiji's life teachings into 6 topics. School children, we conduct it in our Bala Vikas. We conduct it in different schools also in the city. One is Be a Lion story. Swamiji's story in Chicago Parliament. Be a lion, be a lion. That's Gorrasimham Katha. That is put into a syllabus. Beautiful. With case studies, with questions, with examples, so that a 6th standard boy can understand and be a lion. Another story, Face the Brutes. Swamiji's experience in Benares. Monkeys were chasing. Some sadhu said, face the brute. That incident has been put into a syllabus, into a frame. Secret of concentration. From Arjuna till Tendulkar and till present times. How they have achieved success by concentration of the mind. That's one small book. Find the truth for yourself. Swamiji's story, incident of the old man telling there are ghosts on the tree. Don't come here, don't disturb. Ghost will eat you. Narendra was sitting on the tree and waiting for the ghost. And he told his friends, if the ghost was there, it would have come 1 week ago. Why only today? Find the truth for yourself. Swamiji's message. That's a kind of syllabus. Learn to learn, the learning process. How Swamiji learned from childhood, learned from the world, learned from the country. Students should be elevated to learn to learn. Otherwise, mind will stop working. So like that, series of syllabus, series of books published already by Lumen, which many of our centers are using. That is how the vision of Ranganathanji, which is flown through Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna and others, is sent to the banker, is sent to the sweeper, is sent to the corporate, is sent to the teacher. So it is a great asset for the Ramakrishna mission also through V. Srinivas, and continuing the legacy of what Ranganathanji wanted, enlightened citizenship, infinite possibilities, and inner fruit, external fruit, and bringing them together for a man at work. And how his devoted team in Mumbai, I'm not praising him, but the lesson for all of us, every day before they leave, they go and offer few flowers at Swamiji's feet in a portrait. The dedication, the surrender, it's a worship, it is a karma yoga for the entire team. We are very thankful for Srinivas coming all the way to Hyderabad to participate in this memorial lecture, and very happy to listen to him, and hope some of you would join the Human Excellence and the School of Languages and others and make a big difference in the Telangana state, because this year is very important. Next year also is important. Within 15 days we are entering into 2023. Lectures from Colombo to Almora, Ranganathanji's favorite book, which he used to recommend to anybody and everybody. He said, read it, read. This is Swamiji's original thoughts. So that 125-year celebration is going on. Then 125 years of Ramakrishna mission, 75 years of Indian independence. All these put together is something solid where we can achieve something inside happiness if some people are benefited in Telangana state or in Andhra state or any part of the country. So please participate, devotees, friends, volunteers and others, to make this a reality. Can we request Rambabu to just 1 or 2 minutes, if possible, just to share your... కొంచెం అక్కడి నుంచి మంచి రోజు వచ్చారు మీరు కష్టపడి. యా ఎస్, విల్ యూ కమ్ దేర్? పాసిబుల్ టు కమ్ ఆర్ మైక్ విల్ బి గివెన్ దేర్ ఇట్స్? నన్ను మైక్ పెట్టుకోండి శుభ్రం. ఆన్లైన్ నన్ను అదొద్దు అయ్యా, ఒప్పుకోను. రాంబాబు గారు ఆన్లైన్ చాలామంది వింటారు. Yes, please. Namaste. Namaste.
I'm humbled by this opportunity. I had the rare privilege of being associated with Maharaj for close to 40 years. And that was, I think, a memorable period of my life, which transformed me from an ignorant seeker to a man who is inspired. I must,
Wonderful. The spirit of oneness, as Maharaj used to quote, that Chaitanya Devaki Seva Karo, in that line, Ghat Ghat Purana Eka Niranjana Dvait Bhava Sab Dur Nivaro. Hirade Andar Mandir Mahi Jagamag Jyot Jage Ujiyaro. So that, and the Bhagavatam shloka, it is not just you are worshipping somebody, but showing him the abhiman, showing him the respect, showing him the due respect, whether man or woman, because of the potential divinity inside. So this is in broad way that we celebrate Maharaj's birthday and memorial lecture today, 18th December. And 2023 is not far off, and it is time for us to spread this message as Illumin Knowledge Resource is doing through syllabus, through different models, experiments. And within a very short time they found the result that gave Srinivas the encouragement. And we pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Mother and Swamiji, and to Ranganathanji to bless him more and more with strength. And the entire team of Illumin Knowledge have been very, very wonderful support to him in day after day in designing, redesigning, thinking, studying the situation in the country. And that is how and each one of them, nearly I think 15, 20 are initiated. Yeah, out of the 25, 30 people, except the new generation. All of them took Mantra Diksha in Mumbai, and they have been blessed by Swami Ranganathanji and dedicated their life. During the COVID time, Srinivas was telling some of the seniors, they did not take salary. They instead gave it to the juniors because they need it more. That's how their love and this one for the institution and for Swamiji's message entered into their hearts. So, thanks to Maharaj's blessings, we Srinivas, we thank you again on behalf of the Hyderabad Ramakrishna Mutt and behalf of the devotees of the Mutt for your time and wonderful ideas. So a quick announcements for all of you. Tomorrow is another auspicious day, Mahapurushmara Swami Shivanandaji's birthday, who is the Guru of Swami Ranganathanandaji, second president of the order, and also Ekadashi. We have Ramnam Sankirtan and a short talk on Mahapurushma's life in the evening. Announcements will be done in temple. 1st January, we have Kalpatru Utsav from morning 7:30 to evening 7:30. Bhajans, puja, 3 o'clock, meditation, etc. 1st January. Then for the devotees here, 7th and 8th of January, for Telangana Bhaktula Sammelanam in Padmashalipuram area under the auspice of collaboration with the Mutt. So all the devotees who have gathered here, your friends, relatives can attend that. Their volunteers are put their counter outside in the office. Please register, participate in large numbers and see that Telangana also increases the deficit which it having. Most of the thing had gone to Andhra. So Telangana has very few, very active centers. But we want that message to go deep into the villages and through the Seva Samitis. Whether it's Khammam, whether it's Mahbubnagar, whether it's Adilabad, whether it's Nizamabad, whether it is Karimnagar. Some good people are there, good devotees, but they need strength. They need, as he said, strengthen the roots, and the fruits will come by itself. So that work is in pending. We have to work on it. 2 years we could not do, COVID, pandemic, now it has to start. So we start with Telangana Bhakta Sammelanam, 7th January, 8th January. 7th will be Youth Convention, 8th will be Devotees Conference, full day program, Sunday. So these are immediate for all of you. And we request our Swamis to come on stage, and all the Swamis, please. Please. And after this vote of thanks is over, those who want to offer flowers for Maharaj can come here. We kept some loose flowers. Please offer, then take prasadam. And 3 things will be given to you. A poster, Maharaj's teachings poster, and Maharaj's card, Human Excellence card will be given to all of you. And his beautiful lecture on Grihastha Dharma, that also will be distributed in the prasada counter outside. Okay? Then Arati, Bhajan, up to 8 o'clock. Okay. So, we pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Mother and Swamiji with a Guru Stotram. We will end this meeting. Ajnanatimirandhasya gnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Om asatoma sadgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Ramakrishna. So devotees can come from this side, offer and flowers and this side.